Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Autotrash. I'm Roger, the grumpy one.
I'm Mark, the gobby one.
And I'm Matt, and I still haven't been straightened out by you guys yet. Let's introduce our next special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Luke Gardner, otherwise known as Sensei Customs.
Excellent, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Right, let's get this underway. First question, do you own a Warden?
I do own a Warden.
Yay!
And I've got to say, he's probably one of the best third-party figures that's came out really at the last part of this year. I think it's a really smart figure. Can't fault the paint apps. The head mode, which everyone sort of like goes on about, I think is actually really quite cool. It's kind of made me look for a G1 Fort Max, and if you know me, I'm not really a G1 kind of fella, but I really like it. I really like the tank mode, and I just love everything about it. It's a really cool figure.
Brilliant, excellent. I couldn't agree more. I loved everything you said. I completely agree. So then, what else can we ask you? Let's see. What about Transformers in general? What got you into collecting?
Well, I sort of like collected Transformers back in the day in 1984 or 86 or whatever it was. I can't remember now. I was about 7 when I really got into it. Carried on collecting well into my early teens with the G1 comic in the UK. And then I met girls, forgot about Transformers, had a bit of sex, had some kids and all the rest of that stuff, and I sort of like got back into Transformers again with the Alternators line, where Argus was selling Silver Streak or whatever he was.
I got that too.
I bought that figure, and I carried on buying more of the Alternators Vinyl Tech line. That's how I got to know Sven. I've spent many a dark hour in the Sainsbury's car park in Selly Oak buying Transformers off Sven. And then I come across Transtopia, which was a customising site. A lot of guys on there doing like vinyl tech size Transformers, customised versions. And I've sort of like got a Games Workshop background. Never played the game. Thought it was a bit gay, but I just like the hobby. I like painting, and that's sort of like where my style comes from. And I saw that, and I thought, well, I reckon I could do that, and that's how it sort of started, really.
Oh, that's very good.
Say that you like doing customs, Luke. And I've seen a few of your customs, and I'm proud to say I own a couple. Well, Rita owns a couple.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. What got you into doing customs?
Well, like I say, I mean, I've got like a painting and customising background, but it's not just Transformers. I've done like a couple like custom like Star Wars figures and stuff like that, and other bits and bobs over the years. But really my passion and my love is really is Transformers customs, most definitely.
Sure, a lot of people have seen your Junkions, and they're some of the best. They are. They're absolutely wonderful little creations.
Yeah. I've seen those pictures. They look fantastic.
I think most sort of like artists get their sort of like their niche, so to speak. And with mine is sort of like the weathered look. I've started getting into doing like what I call like stock toy finishes, which is like what I've done with the Masterpiece Black Swipe. That is something very different to what I would usually do, but I think it turned out quite smart.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you prefer a weathering technique as your own signature move, don't you?
Well, it was a bit unintentional, to be honest with you. It was a bit of a experiment that turned out better than I'd imagined. So that's how it with the weathering effect anyway. But then I've had to adopt that as I've gone along. So I'd say like probably like, you know, as people have called me before, I'm the king of the Junkions. I'd probably say like, well, I wouldn't agree, but I reckon I've got them guys pretty much now down to a T. I mean, I've come away from the bikes now and gone into different vehicles and stuff like that, as you've probably noticed and seen. So.
With the with your customs, when you said about doing the weathering effect, how long did that take you to really nail down?
Like I say, it was like a one-off sort of experiment that turned out right. I mean, I can paint a junking bike in about 4 hours from start to finish, but that's pretty much non-stop and using a hairdryer and everything like that. But I can do one in 4 hours.
Oh, that's quick.
So yeah, it is. It's so simple. I mean, like I've put the recipe up on my customs page. So if you ever look to doing it, it's dead easy. So it's dead easy if you've got a pair of arms. If you haven't, then you've got to use your feet or the stick on your head. So, you know.
I've always wanted to do a custom, but I've always sort of looked and thought, where the bloody hell do I start? So, is there any good ideas for people who want to begin customs? Like, do you have any tips for people?
I think really to start off with, start small. Do something as simple as a head swap or a straight repaint and stuff like that. I've done very few heavy scratch sort of like rebuilds and stuff like that, like the headmasters and stuff that I've done. I mean, I robbed Spurt Reynolds' version of his Mind Wipe. I mean, it weren't nowhere near as good as his, and he sort of taught me through the process in a kind of way as we first started to get to know each other. But my first sort of like real sort of like venture into like the heavy scratch would have been my Scroll Cruncher. I don't know if you're aware of that custom that I did, and then that sold for pretty big bucks. And then about 2 years later, the dude that bought it off me tried to sell it on eBay and say that he made it. But there you go. What can you do?
Stealing other people's work, tut.
Well, you know, but
tut indeed, bad form.
I know, on all of my customs, if you own one, you've got to look really close. But somewhere within that mould, there's a little sticker in there, and it says Sensei Customs. It's in Japanese, and it's on every single custom that I've ever made.
It's like
every single custom, Luke.
It is. If you took it apart, it'd be inside the body somewhere. Somewhere it's on every single one. Huh?
Did you put it on Sound Blaster?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did? I'll have a look.
You won't see it. It's inside the body, so not unless you want to take it apart.
I own a few of your customs, mate, myself and Rita do, and they're absolutely lovely. They really do take pride of place on my shelves.
Yeah. Are you surprised how close Sound Blaster turned out to the real deal?
I think it looks better. There's more of a matte finish to it, whereas the Sound Blaster that I've seen that's commercially released has a shine to it. I prefer the matte finish. It's just lovely.
Well, if you want to talk about Sound Blaster, should we talk about the £100 that I made from Rat Bat?
That is definitely worth a subject.
That is. You need to talk about that. That's a fantastic story.
You're a god, mate. You're a hero.
Go ahead.
I must have the record for the most ever. I just think it's crazy. It's great. It's bought by a Dutch guy, and I honestly thought he wouldn't pay up. I thought he'd say, "Hey guys, I've been smoking too much. I've been drinking too much Stella, and I've done a bit of a shitty bid." We've all done that. We've all done the drunk and making a bid on eBay. And I thought that's what he'd come back with, like trying to get some money off. But the dude paid up.
He's not here.
So straight away. So I was surprised.
I still can't believe you sold Rat Bat for £100. That's insane. You could easily sell Soundmaster for an easy money back, and then just rinse and repeat. You could use that to get your profit. Just keep buying Sound Blaster, then sell Rat Bat and Sound Blaster separately.
Yeah, but what I can't believe is some dude went and bought it. Obviously must have known that, but obviously must have hated Sound Blaster that much that he didn't want to bring himself to come into his house. I don't know.
I don't get it. Yeah, just spend another £30 extra, and there you go. You get Sound Blaster, and if you didn't like it, you could have just sold it.
But see, the thing
Maybe
is, though,
you can get it from any of the shops local to him.
But see, the thing is, he bought it. I mean, there's a guy on eBay, Toy Spark. I don't know if anyone's familiar with him, but he's doing it.
I am.
He's doing it at the moment for £92 shipped.
Bloody hell.
So,
Kind of whatever.
So, but yeah, it's crazy stuff, and but it's nice for once to actually benefit for once.
Is it okay to get another one then and sell them both?
Well,
Or do you
I
think
don't know.
you've made the cash now?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had a bit of a backlash, I suppose, from people on other sites saying that I'm immoral for doing it or whatever. But I just think they're just fucking jealous.
Yeah, we
that
are.
I-
We're super jelly.
it's,
I'll agree.
You're immoral for putting something up for sale, and I won't call them crazy or that, but all those people decided to bid on it, and somebody paid £100, which is £8, over a deal on eBay to buy them both,
I know.
and you forced them to do that. I don't think you did that.
I know, but it's just people being bitter, isn't it? So, but.
Yeah.
But like I say, it was a nice feeling to actually come out on top for once from eBay. Instead of feeling like you've been slightly stiffed for some reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But mind you, I've got my seller fees to come in yet, so that should be interesting.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going through a little bit of crap from eBay at the moment. If you've seen my post where I got my masterpiece Starscream and Nemesis Prime.
Yeah, what? It looks like it's been in an accident with like Highlanders, doesn't it? There can be only one, and like they've missed his head
just
and skewered your box. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Bloody, I don't know. He just didn't package it well enough. He just put one little layer of the little polystyrene little letters you get, and something's just pierced the box, gone past the polystyrene like it was nothing, and went right through the side of Nemesis Prime's box.
yeah.
Thankfully,
Where did it come from, Matt? From China?
Taiwan. So
Taiwan.
yeah.
Perhaps you had the Taiwanese javelin entrance. It actually works for the post office. But for that day, he was doing a shift. I went, I'm going to skewer this box. It's over there. It's 300 feet away. I reckon I can get it with my javelin. I reckon I betted on the fact that he could do it. That's why your box is damaged, dude. I'll complain.
It probably is, mate.
I'll complain.
I'm just trying to go through a dispute with him, and it's going a bit sour at the moment. So I won't delve into it. I'll get it sorted. Let me think. What else is there? With your customs, what was your very first custom you did?
Wow. My very, very first custom was, it was probably, Binotech wind charge, alternators wind charger, the red Honda.
Yeah, that's right.
I repainted it black and purple. I done some detailing on the chest, and then, do you remember that Micromaster that was the helicopter that had the three blades that turned into his fingers? What's it called?
I'm not familiar with that one, I'm afraid.
You don't know? It's one of the mini-cons, yeah? And it turns into like a Chinook helicopter, and his three fingers make his fists and the rotor blades. Well, anyway.
Yes, I've got one myself. I can't remember his name.
So I think I have a rough idea who you mean.
Well, what I did is I used two of them fingers, glued them onto the side of the head, and it makes a real good looking kickback, sort of like from the alternator, version of the Insecticons.
That's cool.
I've only got an actual photo of it. I haven't got anything online of it. It's just an actual photo. It's a couple of photos I got, so I might take a picture of them photos and upload them. And that was my first one, really. And then when I started to get into it, like serious, and like decided to make a bit of money from it, I did, the Real Gear from the first movie, the Real Gear line.
Yes.
I sort of copied Jin Satomi's Real Gear, Real Working Watch, where it was a Casio watch, and it was a real working watch, but it sort of transformed into a robot and that. And then I took the Booster times 100, which is like the Laserbeak sort of like thingy. And then there was the Score 100, which was like the Beast Box that turned into the controller for a games console. I did Beast Box and Score Talk out of that, and that was my first sort of like custom that I sold on eBay. And because I was new and all the rest of that stuff, I didn't understand about combined shipping and all the rest of this stuff. So the same guy won the two, I sent them both to him, but he said one turned up and one didn't. But because I didn't send it by by recorded delivery, I couldn't prove it, and I ended up having to pay him money back. And in the end, he got 2 of my customs for £5.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So
That's horrible, mate.
it wasn't a good start to my customising career, so to speak. But it's gone up and down and spiked and that all over the years. I mean, some of the customs that I've done. I mean, I don't know if any of you have seen my the shockwave ones. I mean, I sort of pinched the idea from Hair Over the Dog a little bit. I finished off one of his customs and I made a couple of my own. I think you own one of them, didn't you, Roger? One of the shock clones.
Yeah, I got the green one.
They were available at AA last year, weren't they?
Yeah. But a lot of feedback that I got from people from last year from AA was pretty much, I said, "Oh, how did you do that?" And I told them, and I sort of got the impression that they thought that they could make it themselves. But I thought, well, good luck, carry on.
I've got a question for you, Luke.
All right.
More of a personal nature. How does your collecting affect your family life?
It depends really. I mean, a lot of it sneaks in under the radars, but but are I stupid and know when someone's new? Do you know what I mean? But I think when I make big money, when I do like over a £300 jobby, everyone's happy, and like I suppose I don't when I win big and I do something big, I don't really sort of like plough it back into buying figures, which I suppose I should do to make the next one. I sort of like I'll take us all out for a meal or something like that, do something special with it. So because it's like extra money that I don't usually have. So really, in retrospect, I should buy more stock figures to do more customs. But I tend to, if I can, just try and do one or variations of one. I never do like two quite the same, because where's the fun in that?
Say that you're not really a collector, but more just a general customizer.
No, I've got a collection. I think Gav sort of like explains it really well. He says I've got like a transcendent collection where I pretty much own everything, but over a certain amount of time I get fed up and bored with it, sell it on to get.
Oh, so you're a foster home?
Yeah.
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 Foster me.
Does your wife ever play with your toys?
Not Transformers, no. She still plays with the main toy. Yeah.
That's a good thing, yes.
Because that transforms as well.
Yeah, I've heard it gets smaller. It's a Micromaster.
Yeah. You're here wrong, Marcus. I've been happily married for 10 years, so I must be doing something
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done to your wife for putting up with you for 10 years.
Yeah, I know. Another thing as well, which I suppose annoys her, is I work very quickly. I don't know if you've noticed. I get an idea in my head, and I suppose it's a bit like I won't say it's a problem, but I get that sort of like enthused about it that I won't rest until it's done. That's why like my turnover of my customs is pretty quick, because I'm committed and I've got a little time, because I've got family commitments and other things, work and my training as well in karate. So I try and fit the customising in the best I can. I think when I get like the creative juices going and I really go for it, that's why that's why someone say, "Oh, how long does it take you to do junking?" And I'll say 4 hours, and that's because I will work solidly for 4 hours for non-stop until it's right. That's just me. That's just how I roll.
You realise that's the signs of a genius. Once an idea pops into someone's mind, they suddenly become stubborn, have to do it.
Yeah.
Good signs. Yeah. I've seen the quality of your work, mate. It doesn't look like it's rushed. It's beautiful and spontaneous.
Yeah, I mean, some things. I mean, like Mindwipe, my headmaster Mindwipe that I've done. Even though I sort of like borrowed a lot from Rich Potter. Sorry, it's Burt Reynolds. It's something like that. To get right and to make me feel happy about it took me 2 years to do. And then once it was sort of done and I was happy with it, I sold it. So I don't know why I sold it. I mean, I sold it for 200 quid. So you know, to the right person, it must have been worth 200 quid. So that's just the way it is. But then I sold customs that I thought like would make, you know, more money. But you know, it is what it is. And I think at the end of the day, I mean, I'm one of them eBay people that I put it on for wherever I put it on and whatever it makes, it makes. If I make a loss, I make a loss. At the end of the day, you know, I know that a lot of hard work went into that, and if that person, you know, wins the winning bid for 30 quid and they're absolutely over the moon with it, and you know, I'm impressed by what I've done and I get good feedback from it, that's the biggest thrill of all, to think that, you know, there's something that I've made in a little sleepy town in Hales Owen, and I've sent customs all over the world. So, you know, I don't get recognised for it. I'm not asking for recognition, but that just makes me feel happy that I've made someone happy that lives all the way in Kuala Lumpur or wherever, that really gets off on something that I've done and they've put it in their collection. The fact that they've put a piece of my work in their collection makes me really happy and really chuffed. So at the end of the day, it's not really about how much it makes. It's just about how much it makes the person happy that owns it, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Oh, that's a great answer. That is.
Appreciation of an artist, that is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm not like the Frenzy Rumbles and all the rest of that stuff, and you know, and or Xavier Cal, and I'm not slagging Xavier Cal at all, because he's a talented young man, he really is. But you know, it is what it is, and you know, I'm not really well known in the customising world, but I kind of quite like that the way it is, and that's it. I just do what
As you
makes
do
me
the
happy.
customs because of it's your own personal enjoyment. You like to do them and enjoy it.
Mm,
Isn't that
absolutely.
basically what you should do? Every customizer should just enjoy. In fact, I think everybody should have a go at customising something in their life.
Well, it depends, Marcus, because some people are out there to make money, and there is money to be made. Don't get me wrong, but it's all about how you do that ethically.
Yes, I understand that. Yes.
You know, I mean, the guys that do it for a living, I mean, fair play to them. I mean, they don't work. You know, they purely do customising for a living, and that's something I've thought about. But it's like anything. I thought if I'd done it for a living, I wouldn't enjoy it anymore, and I think I'd lack.
Exactly.
In,
That's the point. If you do something that you love and enjoy, as soon as you try and make it into a profession, all the enjoyment just goes, disappears. So
Yeah,
it's a good idea. It's a good idea you didn't decide to do it as like, you know, your main source of income, because not only would you get so bored of it, but oh dear,
Passion would dissipate, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And as you said, your creations would lack a little.
I mean, I'm sort of like on a break at the moment. I mean, I do this now and again. I just think, oh well, you know, I've done enough, and I have a bit of a break, and then all of a sudden I'll just go into a mad flit and do a load. So just the way it goes. Just the way it goes. So
that's cool. All right, with your collection of what you have, is there any figures that you have there that hold a special place in your heart, like something that's really like special to you, or is there a figure like you'd never get rid of, for example?
Yeah, and the easy answer question to that is I once had a steel core. I swapped it, and then about 3 weeks ago I tried it again to get one back. Not the same one, but yeah, I just think that's a bit of a special figure. The reason for that is, I mean, I think Fans Project gets a lot of slagging off for, you know, for what they do and the way they go about things, and rightly so, for pricing their figures and all the rest of that stuff. But I think the Warbot figures, especially, because you know, I'm a big sort of like chug collector, well was, but I just really collect the third party chug scale figures now. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, I've owned that figure once, and it come back into my life last week, and I've just been having a fiddle and a mess with it, and it's just a truly great figure, and you know, I hope they bring a trailer out, and if and I really would like to repaint one. I believe you've all heard me talk about it before. Do a black version and call it hardcore. I think that'd be a good.
I have.
A good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good thing to do. But it's an expensive figure. It's an expensive custom. As history has treated me in the past, it's sort of like come across as like you do an expensive custom and somebody gets it for fucking pennies.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things that you got to do, and you know if you really want it that way, you do it and keep it for yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my plans is with the KO Masterpiece Prowl coming out. I know I'm sort of pilfering the idea again from Xavier Cal, but I'd like to do a barricade version of Prowl. So
that'd be nice.
I'd like to see a black Mexican proud of that.
So that's the plan.
That's
For me next one anyway. So I've only really just started getting into doing masterpiece scale figures. I mean, I don't know if you all saw my Black Swipe.
I did see
yeah,
Black Swipe.
good.
He does it good. I like him.
So it was a bit of a gamble. Never took a masterpiece figure apart before. The side swipe figure is an absolute beaut to repaint. It's so easy, especially if you've got the KO, because all the pins and all the screws come out piece, and it literally took me longer to tint the windows red than it did to do the spray paint.
We're painting the windows red.
So yeah, I tinted them using red tint. It's really difficult because obviously in the back of there you've got all the different sprues and screw points and where the bars go through and all the rest of that stuff. It was a real pain in the arse to cut out, but the actual joy of it was just the black paint. As long as you've got some decent paint that you just put on. You hear people going, "Oh, put an undercoat and a strip paint off and all the rest of this shit." You ain't got to bother with that. As long as you've got a real good quality paint that's going to stick to that plastic and all the rest of that, and no paint rub. As long as you get that right paint, you've only got to do the one coat and all the rest of that stuff. I mean, I've got other people that meticulously take them apart and all the rest of that stuff. I don't always take my figures apart. Sometimes I just repaint them. It all just depends on what level I've got to go into changing the aesthetics of the figure, really. So,
That sounds
Any
good.
upcoming releases, third party or Hasbro or Takara, that you're actually looking forward to?
right, don't shoot me down, right? But I'm actually quite looking forward to Bumblebee,
Which
Masterpiece Bumblebee.
the
I look
masterpiece
forward
one.
to
Yeah,
Right.
that's purely because I want to repaint him into Bug Bite.
Really?
Oh.
That sounds interesting. Yes.
Ooh.
So I don't know if you guys have ever seen my repaint from the alternate. I think it was an alternate cliff jumper that I painted into Bug Bite, but because the paint wasn't really good to me, because white is white, yellow, and red are the worst colours to try and repaint a figure. Not unless you got spray paint. And I tried it with paints. Didn't quite go so right, but then what I decided to do was to add like a mud effect, so it was like a rally car, and I managed to pull that off in the finish. But that was a tough figure to paint. Tough figure, but worth the what it looked like in the finish.
I remember my first figure from you was a bug bite.
Right, was that the classics one?
Yeah, the botcon one.
Yeah,
I've still got that.
I know, and Rich tells me off every time Bug Bite comes up. He says, "Oh, you should have sold that to me." I thought, wow. Roger was asking, so
You knew I was after that for ages. Because I kept on to that other guy about where he got his from, and he said I got it from Botcon, and I was lucky to pick it up for so much. And when you said to me, "Well, you can have it for this," I was like, "Yeah, go on, get in there."
Well, that's Mike's right, so isn't it, Rog? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it
Mike's
is.
right. So
So let's ask another question, because we ask everybody this. What's your favourite of? Let's start with the Hasbro line. Now, I know you can say masterpiece, but I'm thinking more, generations and stuff like that.
my favourites from Generations. Well, without a shadow of a doubt, it's got to be Retgar, the Junkians. They are so versatile on what you can do to them, and bits you can add on with bits of styrene and all the rest of that stuff. I mean, I don't know if you're all familiar with my recycle that I made from the Star Wars swoop bike.
I did see
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I
Oh,
did
yes.
see that. That was lovely.
Oh, yeah.
I did see
Yes.
that was lovely. That's great.
I mean that was just I was talking. That was back in down at AA in 2012. I bought the junkie and I said to Gab, I said, "Oh, I've got this idea. You know the swoop bike from Shadows of the Empire. La, 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 la. I'm going to do this, that, and the other." And I'd done it by about a week back from AA. I'd done what I wanted to do. I'd cut my finger open in the process and everything like that to get it just right. But even now, like, I pick it up and I think, oh, should I stick this on eBay? And I just look at it because it's got like the head of more or less built on it and out of styrene and stuff like that, and bits of like Callaway Customs junkie on faces and stuff like that. And I just look at it every time and just think, it's. That's the boy that is. I've got to keep that. So, but I'm looking to expand really on my Son's Unicron, which I've had permission to use the logo and the name from the powers that be, and obviously do the the chaps jackets and stuff. And like I've recently worked on a repaint from Lugnut. I don't know if you've all seen that. So
I have
Yeah, the head
seen
looks good.
that. Looks
No.
evil. That Lugnut looks absolutely evil.
So again, it's just little bits, I'll change the head to and from and back and stuff like that. And but yeah, I'm looking to probably expand on my Sons of Unicron group, so to speak. But I'm trying to steer away from like the motorbike alt mode. So like the main man, the leader of the group, is still a bike, but I'm looking at other alt modes for the other guys. Like I've got the Lugnut. And then I've got the Mech Ideas, Geminus as one of the guys as well. And then I did a repaint of Classic Springer as Death Trap, using one of the Junkion heads and sticking spikes through it and making it look rough and all the rest of that stuff. So, yeah, I'll probably look to expand on that group. Yeah, that might be my entry for next year, this year's AA. As the Sons of Unicron group, get about 8 or 9 of them together in different base figures and sticking a Junkion head and giving them a Junkion look. That's the plan. So, bit of an exclusive there. So, if you come to AA this year, look out for the Sons of Unicron because that'll be my work. So, there you go.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be doing special bits of podcasts, which we'll put all together when we get back. So we'll catch up with everybody who's there, won't we? So.
Oh yeah,
And we'd all be fools if we didn't turn up to AA this year. It's going to be a bit crazier.
Yeah. Look for me and Rich are doing a couple of nights this year. So we'll be doing the Friday night and the Saturday night. So you'll get the pleasure of our company for 2 days.
There's no need to ask you your favourite third party figure, then, is there?
It's got to be. Well, I'm sort of torn because it's got to be either Quake Wave or Warden. There's I don't own any feral Rexes. I mean, I've had a fiddle with Marcus's Bovis. I don't know if that sounds.
Well, I now have the Leo Ducks and the 40s, so if you ever want to pop over and have a play with it, I don't mind.
Yeah. Well, that seems like an offer.
I've got quite a few new things that you might want to get your hands on. Hello, that sounded rude.
Giggity.
It is, yeah. So, but yeah, that's a good thing about Marcus. He usually owns all the shit you don't. So if you ever want to go in it, just go around his house. He'll let you have a fiddle.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah. So in the nicest possible way, of course.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, I mean, I've even sort of started to lean towards a feral Rex. But I keep telling myself no.
Yes, it's a yes.
Yeah,
There's no. Don't deny it.
You've got to buy them.
I know you was debating months ago, weren't you?
Another figure I've been really impressed with has got to be Master MP10B. I never really dig the Optimus Prime things, but I'm a bugger for a black repaint. Once you go black, you never go back, as they say, and that's true with me with Transformer.
And you did the trailer to match it as well. I saw the custom, and that was absolutely fucking amazing.
And it's got a custom roller that transforms as well. But there you go.
Yeah, I've seen the custom roller. Custom roller looks bloody awesome.
So that was down to Gav. I mean, Gav pretty much gave me that. Is it a TFC roller? I changed the leg transformation and all the rest of that stuff, so you didn't have to add the silly fucking windows to it all and everything like that. It just all transforms it all on it. So, but yeah, But yeah, I've still got to do the inside of that trailer. I keep promising myself that because I'm a bugger when it comes to painting big figures. I mean, I tried to make what Frenzy Rumble ripped off Privet's a Devastator. Because that wasn't his design, it was someone else's, and I thought I'd give it a go. And I painted all the bots, but when it comes to all the bits where they all join together, I just couldn't be arsed, so I just sold all the bits on eBay. But if you want to look at the pictures of what I've done, if you go onto my account on Facebook, on the Luke Gardner one, if you have a look on there on my Transformer customs, they're all on there. But like I say, it's all pretty much of a muchness. I think when you're getting into customising, I think it's not wrong to copy someone else, if you know what I mean. As long as you're not taking the credit for it, saying this is my design or whatever. But if you're giving props to someone else, I mean, I always think that if someone copies something that I've done, I feel great that someone wants to copy what I've done. Do you know what I mean? So again, that's another thing that I get from customising. That if someone wants to imitate my work, they can carry on. Right? You know, if I give someone the idea and the passion to go and try something or make a custom of their own, then fair play. I'm not going to turn around and go, "Oh, well, you copied my idea." You know, I ain't bothered. It's all about the hobby. It's all about what people get out of it. So that's just how I feel about it.
That's the old saying: imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, who wouldn't we want to be approached by a third-party company that want to sort of like mooch your idea? But a lot of the ideas just get mooched without, the original artist getting any credit at all. So
yeah, it's a bit better these days though. There's been a lot of collaboration the last few months with a few of them.
Yeah, but I think it's getting a bit all too much of a muchness. You know what I mean? Across some of it. I mean, some of the stuff. That's come out. It's just been pointless. I mean, I'm not going to name names because we all know designers and all stuff like that. But I mean, I'm not going to name names or say which designs I personally think are wrong or whatever, because that's not fair. Because obviously they're friends, but they're also people that are associated with Hands of Steel and stuff like that. But some of it, I personally have thought there's just no need. It's just, like I say, just for the sake of doing it. So,
someone's going to have to ask you this question. It has to be asked. Movie toys, age of extinction, yes or no?
No. It just goes straight. It's that crap. Even Toys R Us won't stock them. So
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's how shit they are. They're that shit that a major retailer who's been the major retailer of Transformers for fucking donkey's years won't stock them. And in a way that's good because they recognise that they're shit. But then in a way it's bad because I think it's going to be the death of the brand.
What, over here?
Well, I think everywhere. I think if it's the death of the brand in the biggest toy store in the entire world, then that speaks volumes for the actual brand itself. Whether they bring in Masterpiece and really make a big thing of it with Prowl. I know Transformers. I know Hasbro are going to bring out Masterpiece Prowl and Sideswipe and all the rest of that stuff. We're getting a Sunstorm, which I think is a really funny choice. Do you know what I mean? It's a good choice for collectors and stuff like that. But I think for general release as a character, I think it's a bit of an odd choice. But for me and for my benefit, I think it's a great choice. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know who they have in charge of making the decision on what we get as a mass release within Toys R Us. I don't know, but that's just the way it is, isn't it?
Well, do you not think that if Toys R Us aren't going to stock the new movie toys, and the actual movie is a big hit for not like us old hardcore fans, because we might go and watch it, but we won't think the same as the kids are watching it. But don't you think that like Hasbro or Takara, whoever distribute them, will go to like the next couple of shops down and offer them the exclusive?
Well, I don't know. It's mainly been Argus and Toys R Us that get the main deals, isn't it? I mean, I can remember the day. Do you remember Woolworths when Woolworths were open?
Yes.
They had some cracking stuff.
Yeah, they did.
So,
Nowadays, the only way to get decent Transformers is wait till B&M or Home Bargains get them in cheap.
but either then, I mean, you're only getting the crappy Beast Hunters, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? And that's a line I can really do without. I never really got into the Transformers animated. I like the show, but the aesthetics of the figures never really appealed to me. To be fair.
Yeah, animated's a bit like Marmite, really. I've found with a lot of fans. If you love it or you hate it.
Mm.
But I personally absolutely fucking adore it. So, animated. I could have animated all my life. If just Transformers forever was just animated.
I think what they did with that. I mean, it had a good premise, and there was a lot of nods to like G1 story arcs and stuff like that. But where they had the potential to run with it, they just did an episode of it, and then you never heard of it again, which is a real shame.
Yeah, I hate that they cancelled it after season 3, and there were so many questions that were left unanswered. I thought, what the bloody hell were you doing?
Well,
Why?
it took the last episode for Bumblebee to stop going to go, hello, I've got a voice, and I'm going to be the next Prime. Nah, shit. Shit. It was like there was a load of good ideas, and at the end they went, let's try and get it all into one episode, and then cut it. So, nah.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the new V series. I mean, the one in the 80s was scary as shit. I can remember watching it as a young kid and being frightened, and the storyline being quite up and out there and all the rest of that stuff. And then they rehashed it and rehashed the story arcs and all the rest of that stuff. And it kind of left you with like a bit of taste in your mouth, and that's how I feel about Transformers Animated. Not trying to take away anything from the show, because I thought the show was good, but I just thought they had the opportunity to expand different story arcs, but never really done it.
So if they made a TF Prime or an animated masterpiece, would you buy it?
No.
Not
Same reason I didn't buy the movie masterpieces, because they're bastardizations of G1 characters. I mean, to have a Starscream that's got a tongue that slithers around and all the rest of that stuff, it's a load of shit.
I don't know.
You say you're a G1 at heart.
I am. I mean, I get a lot of my inspiration from the G1 cartoon, and what I look for in aesthetics is in the G1 cartoon, because as a child I used to get the G1 toys, especially stuff like Prowl and everything like that, and don't get me wrong, the G1 Prowl figure was a nice figure, but like when you had the G1 version of that figure and you held it in your hands and all the rest of that stuff, you know, his legs didn't move and he looked all blocky and a bit awkward, and then they bring the masterpiece versions out of it, and you think, Jesus Christ, this is what I wanted as a 7-year-old.
Yeah, but in those days, we had this thing called imagination.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been married for 10 years, like I said. I've still got a good imagination. You got it really, ain't you? That's why I can do the right arm one-handed press up. Brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, you just got to know your strengths, haven't you? So, but yeah, I kind of think if they ever rehashed the Transformers franchise into a cartoon, I think the closest they ever got to it being good, but the storylines were shit, was I'm trying to think what it was now. Which is the one which introduced the mini-cons to start off with, that had the real manga-esque
Armada.
I think the animation-wise on that was spot on, but just the story was shit.
Yeah, I agree. It was.
I mean, they try and translate a Japanese cartoon. I mean, and the Japanese satire is very camp, and
yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? And having a camp Megatron that goes, "Woo, Starscream!" and it's supposed to be frightened of him, not you know, be slightly turned on and reach for the lubrication. You know, but you know, it is what it is, and I just think if they're ever going to try and redo a Transformers franchise or cartoon, they should take that manga aesthetics, but have more of an adult storyline. But that's never going to happen, because Transformers are supposed to be for kids. So,
yeah, I know. I've always preferred the adult storylines. So just as long as it's got like fewer characters, so you get good character development on them. then I'm happy, which is why I loved Beast Wars. Beast Wars is still my favourite of the Transformers seasons.
They say that was my Transformer collecting lore. I didn't get Beast Wars at all.
Get it, no?
Nah, didn't interest me. At all. I just thought that turned into like prehistoric, and it just ruined the continuity from G1. There was no purpose for it being there. It was just totally alien to me. I didn't get it. But saying that, Master Force, I think, is an excellent continuation from the Japanese line. It's a bit out there. There's a lot of like Japanese spiritualism in there with different, having powers of all the rest of that stuff. It's very, very Japanese, but I actually like the storyline and I actually like the human sort of like content in there, especially with the Headmaster Juniors. Not so much the Autobot ones because they're all happy and all the rest of that stuff, but I kind of like the what happened with the Decepticon Headmaster Juniors, how they sort of like it was all a bit wrong what they were doing. So I think the moral message in that story there is good, and how it progresses and all the rest of that stuff. I think it's excellent. I really do. And don't be put off by the English subtitles. If you watch it in Japanese and read the subtitles, I think it makes more sense than the dubbed version.
Yeah.
But I think anything after G1. I think the Headmasters the Headmaster series was by far one of the better ones. You got to love a Browning, ain't you? You wouldn't want a little Browning on your shoulder, so you know.
Is there anybody you'd like to give a special thanks out to tonight, or a hello to?
Well, yeah, just anyone who's listening. You know me. I mean, I pretty much keep myself to myself, and I'm off for a chat to anyone. But I'm quite happy for anyone to listen to me ramble on. So if you enjoyed listening to it, then thanks for listening. So and I suppose I'd like to put a thanks out to my wife for putting up with my hobby. Because I do rant on about it to her, and when I get something new, I go, "Oh, look at this," and she's not really interested, but she pretends that she is.
Yeah, she still listens, basically.
Yeah.
Aww.
She loves you, mate. It's as simple as that.
I have to tell a bit of a white lie about how much it costs, but
He's going to say she's not hearing this now.
she probably is. Yeah, she's probably writing notes.
Should be listening to the podcast later.
So it's probably going to boss me bollocks. But there you go. So
We're coming to the end of the podcast now, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, is it that
Is
time?
there any last words before we wrap up?
It's always so hard to wrap up in it because you get right into the chat near the end.
Yeah.
You just don't want to go, do you?
I know, but time restrictions.
Special thank you to our guest, Mr. Luke Gardner, tonight.
Thank you for coming on, mate.
you're welcome,
cheers,
guys.
buddy.
Anytime.
It'd be good if you could come on again, maybe in the future.
Yeah, man. Just let me know. I'll be there.
Yeah, a follow-up would be good. About 6 months time.